Hey everybody out there, Chris here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. We are officially in the third week of Villains Month. We are doing books from September 18th, 2013. Got a bit of Marvel, got a whole lot of DC, and we have one indie book this week. I am catching up on a lot of my indie books. Throughout the entire summer, it's been a crazy busy schedule. So a lot of my indie books I actually have been reading in my spare time. A lot of them out of order as far as the weeks, so that's why I haven't been reviewing them on the show or talking about them at the beginning of the show like I did back in June. I am catching up on a lot of reading, and once I do that, I will be making mention of them again on this show, as well as once we get Mike back, he'll be doing an indie review show, like I said, here, and well, we'll talk about that when the time comes, but I think we're going to be getting Mike back by next weekend. We'll be seeing about that. I've been working on a few things during Villains Month in my spare time, and don't worry, I'm going to document it, and it'll probably end up on Dark Avenger Inc. So if you're not subscribed to Dark Avenger Inc., please do sub to Dark Avenger Inc. so you don't miss out on the video documentary of it. Don't question me. Okay, September 18th. So we got Mega Man 29. This is part 2 or 1. Part 1 of the Blackout Curse of Ra Moon. Epic story. I'm not going to go really in depth about it. I really enjoy Mega Man, and after the Sonic Mega Man crossover, I decided to jump into Mega Man. Unfortunately, I jumped into a part 2 story. This is the first part to the next story arc. There's a Blackout. Thanks to Mega Man's brother Blue. Mega Man, as well as the other robots, minus his sister, were brought back thanks to Blue, and now Mega Man wants to find the source of it, and he wants to fix everything and save his sister, who's out completely. It's a fun story, really nice artwork. For those of you that are not familiar with Mega Man artwork, which by the way we've been talking about it for the past couple of months with the Sonic Mega Man crossover, but we'll give you guys some Mega Man artwork. But yes, Dr. Wily's involved. It's a crazy story, but it's a really good story. There are variant covers to this story, as well as the new story arc going on in Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Universe. I don't have Sonic Universe here with me. It was reviewed, however, on Dark Avenger Inc. But Sonic Universe, I'm not really feeling this current story arc. Well, Mega Man, let's talk about Mega Man. Mega Man 29 was an awesome read. If you're a Mega Man fan, if you have a child, this is definitely a book for them and for you if you're a Mega Man fan especially. Now, Sonic Universe, I forgot what number it was, but the one that came out this week, it was okay. I'm just not feeling the story arc with Sonic Universe. I know that Mike, wherever he is enjoying it. So that's why Sonic Universe is still on my pull list. By the next story arc, if I don't feel it, maybe Mike will put it on his pull list. By the way, Mike might be... I don't want to talk too much about this right now without Mike here. I'd rather have Mike here. So when we get Mike back, we'll have a full-blown Avenger log about it. Like I said, it'll probably be next week, so look forward to next week, because next week is when we're going to be setting up for things that are coming in October, and that's when there's going to be a bit of a change, and not a bad change, more of a plus change. So we'll talk about that next week, so there's something to look forward to next week from this channel, as well as stuff that's going to be coming for Dark Avenger Inc. and more, ... Stay tuned to next week's video, like I said. I'm plugging a lot of stuff in this review, but there's a reason why. Big things have been going on behind the scenes, which are going to lead to big things for you guys, and I've been listening to your guys' comments, even on Dark Mike's video, and I've been listening to you guys in messages and stuff. I'm sorry, I call him Dark Mike, and it just hit me before the lights go out. Dark Rise, or Rinse as we call him on Dark Avenger Inc. Live. But there are big things coming, and if you guys enjoyed this month, you're going to really enjoy what Mike and I, when I get Michael back, have in store for you guys for this channel, for Inc., for the future, and for another future endeavor that I'm actually starting, or he will actually be starting very soon. Stay tuned. Next week, like I said, it will be a full-blown Avenger log involving him, involving me, and not him, Earth 3 him. The actual Michael will be back. Trust me, I have a plan, and my plans 90% of the time don't fail. We're now in Marvel Comics. Thor God of Thunder, issue number 13. The Accursed, part 1. Now, this book, every time I see it, I dread it, and this is no insult to Jason Aaron, but Jason Aaron, you really need... You feel the need to have dialogue for everything, I guess. There is a lot of dialogue for Thor. If you are not a heavy reader, I guess that's why a lot of people would definitely be pushed away from Thor. I mean, there were scenes where there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but then you get pages. This is a brief example of huge dialogue, and this entire book, once again, it's filled with dialogue, it feels like filler moments and like setup moments. The whole point is Malekith, I hope I'm saying his name, is back, and he wants to return to his realm and become king again. He was crazy. He wanted to destroy the 9 realms or cause war with the 9 realms. Thor faced them before. I didn't read Thor back in the day. And he was imprisoned by Odin. He's now back. He was freed. And now he's raising an army. And basically Thor and him share dialogue at a point. And basically there's going to be a fight between Malekith and Thor. And the one cool thing about this book is you actually get a map of the 9 realms as the final page, which I thought that was a little nice add-on to this book. It was a really nice add-on. I liked it a lot. But as far as the book itself, once again, filled with dialogue, and the only thing you needed to get out of this, or you are going to get out of this, is Malekith is back. He was freed. Thor finds out about it, and now Thor is going after Malekith. That's it. It's the whole story. All that dialogue. However, if you didn't know who Malekith was, this does kind of explain a little bit of who he is and a few things here, there, and everywhere. So yes, there are little explanations here and there, but oh my god, whenever I see this book, I try to push it to the bottom of the pile because so much reading is involved with this book. It's ridiculous. But I love Thor, and Jason Aaron, the first story arc was really good, even though it took 11 issues to get that story. I mean, this is only, I believe, a 5-part story arc, maybe 4. I could be wrong, it could be more, but beside the point, the first story arc was really good. A little drawn out towards the end, but it was really good. The previous issue was spectacular. So I'm going to be sticking with this for a bit, see where we go with this. But this is a fun read. The artwork is really good. Definitely a very good setup to what's to come in this story arc. But just a lot of dialogue. And the only reason I have it at the bottom of the pile is because if you are not... I know a lot of people don't like Thor, and I wish I could promote Thor more, but I know a lot of people hate books that are super heavy on dialogue and lacking in action. There is a fair amount of action in here, but I don't... No, it really depends on your taste in comic books. For me, I'm enjoying Thor right now, but once again, the more heaviness to the dialogue, especially in books like the weeks like this where I have tons of books, this is a book you dread when your pile is over 20 comics, because this comic takes you about 3 comics to read. It costs you 3 comics worth of time. But it was still a good read, but once again, just a setup. And it's 2 points that are brought out in tons of dialogue. Superior Spider-Man, issue 18, the continuation of the crossover with Spider-Man 2099. I wish I have an iPod because I was going to pass it over to Mike Spiderslayer, who said it best. Oh, look at that, my iPod. Magic. It's magic. And look, it has Mike Spiderslayer on it. And he's already explaining this book. So let's actually go to Mike Spiderslayer right now and see what he thought. If you didn't see, it's on Comic Book Corner 2.0. Let's see what his thoughts are. Mike, what did you think about Superior Spider-Man issue number 18?
Stupid. Yes. Stupid. Boring. Dragged out. Didn't care. Torn. Spidey 2099 never came from. There's so many better things that they could have done with this story. So I say it was dumb. It's dumb. What the story was about? I'll tell you in a second. Artwork is pretty good here.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I don't want to give your entire review away, but let's just say, yes, I read this book before watching Mike Spiderslayer's review, and that sums up exactly how I feel about this book. It was stupid. There was so much potential that Dan Slott had with Spider-Man 2099, and he shot it all to hell. Like I figured, Peter Parker's job is basically on the line. Max Modell warns him, if you leave right now, don't bother coming back. So we're probably going to see the end of Horizon Labs here. I hate Tiburus Stone. I think the whole story is dumb. They even make Spider-Man 2099 dialogue, his dialogue, Miguel's dialogue, they make him sound stupid. That's not Spider-Man 2099. This story arc is beyond stupid. You have Grady going back in time with his little camera watch that makes me think about 007. I don't know why, but I'm watching it and he's like all super spy, like taking pictures of Mr. Stone screwing up Alpha. Of all times, and I agree again with Mike Spiderslayer, of all times that Grady went back in time, the Alpha story arc was the part that you send him back to. That's like putting the crap right on top of the already crappy story. So it's just like a crap sundae with crap sauce and a little crap cherry. Little crap cherry being Superior Spider-Man. Can't stand this. If you guys remember, I said that this story arc was going to make or break this series for me. I don't even care, because it looks really bad what's going to be going on with the Venom story arc that's coming to this book anyway. This is the dumbest story in the world, and unlike Mike Spiderslayer, I'm not going to rip the book, which I actually commented he should do in his video. I don't rip my comics. I do drop comics. Superman is my main superhero, so I have no problem dropping Spider-Man. If this is the kind of stories they're going to be, Dan Slott's going to be writing for Superior Spider-Man now, and they say in 2 more issues, issue 20, big shake-up in the Spider-Man universe. That's going to be the point where I either say, this is really interesting and I'm going to stick with it, because that's the end of this story arc and the start of something new, or that's going to be the point where I take the comic and flip it off the table and you never see Superior Spider-Man again. Dumb. The artwork, however, which is by Ryan Stegman, was very good. If you're expecting like heavy-set action, nope. Beautiful artwork, but not really much in the action department at all. And Doc Ock's a dumbass. Here's some artwork. I'm sorry, but what's going on in the Spider-Man universe? And let's put this down and let's talk about the Superior Carnage issue 3, which, by the way, if you didn't see it, it's up on Dark Avenger Inc. already. This is getting a warning? Really? That bad? Okay, so if you didn't see the reaction video on Dark Avenger Inc. towards Mike's reaction to seeing this, go to Dark Avenger Inc. I'm breaking the 4th wall because it was just perfect to break the 4th wall in this moment. Go check out the reaction, because he's more of a Spider-Man fan than me, but I'm still a Spider-Man fan. This was dumb. The only reason why this was better than that was because this is a mini-series. This can be changed. That can't be changed. That's part of the Spider-Man story arc universe for all eternity. This is a mini-series that people can ignore after a while. So why? Why is this dumb? Oh, sorry. Let me show you. Well, first you get regular Carnage at the beginning of the issue because, you know, it's Carnage. Carnage is not under, you know, Wizard's mind control. You know, he's Carnage still. He's just in the Doctor's body. Then the Wizard takes control, and hello, Atrocitus Spidey, Carnage. Again, I agree with Mike Spiderslayer. This is not Carnage. This is the Punisher meets Atrocitus, meets, I don't know what, but this is definitely not Carnage. So, I don't know. And then you get a little trench coat that he puts on at the end. So the Wizard gains control over Carnage. And what does he and Claw want to do? They want to take out City Hall and then eventually take over the world. Here's another shot of Punisher now, Carnage. So, they attack City Hall. And you see the Wizard starting to lose his marbles a little bit. You know, his dementia's starting to seep, you know, starting to sink in. And Carnage is starting to revert back to his normal, self. And that's why I'm saying this is a little bit smarter than the series before it, because in this series, actually, you know, by the end of this story arc or this mini-series, Carnage is probably going to go right back to being who he was before, or the way he looked before, whereas you can't change what's going on with Spider-Man 2099 and Superior Spider-Man right now. But speaking of Superior Spider-Man, that's where it leaves off. The Fearsome Four, or Three, break into J. Jonah Jameson's mayor office, and they come face to face with the Superior Spider-Man. To be continued. I believe there are 2 more issues to go. I believe this is a 5-issue story arc, if I am not mistaken. Once again, like I said, the whole Superior Spider-Man, Carnage, the Superior Spider-Man universe in general is dumb, but Superior Carnage, you know, a lot of people are saying you're taking their childhood and ruining it. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel. If I was if Spider-Man was my main superhero right now, I would feel like Marvel Comics is completely shitting, pardon my language, all over my favorite superhero and everything connected to it. We went from just it being Superior Spider-Man to Superior Team-Ups, losing Avenging Spider-Man. We now have Superior Carnage, and this is a superior dumb move in a way, but once again, it's a mini-series. It's a mini-series. That's what everybody has to keep thinking, and that's what I'm thinking. So it can end better. So I'm not completely condemning this series yet. I'm going to continue it. There's only 2 more issues to go. I'm condemning the Superior Spider-Man, and apparently after issue 20, starting in issue 21, Venom comes back to New York. And Flash is going to lose the symbiote, apparently, or that's what we're told, and there's going to possibly be a Superior Venom. I don't know about everybody else out there. It could just be me. I'm sick of the Superior anything. This is like, as somebody commented on that video that breaks the 4th wall, DC Marvel, I want to say his name right, so I'm going to run to the video. But this is basically like a Superior Nightmare. And I'm going to say exactly who said in a minute, as soon as I get to the point in time where, or the book in question, which hopefully I will get to. Yep, here. DC and Marvel Guy 4.0. There we go. I wanted to make sure I said it correctly. Yes, this is like the Superior Nightmare. This is the worst book. This is the worst thing you could do to a superhero right now. And we had a superior functionality problem with the camera. So, I don't know what Marvel's doing with Spider-Man, or what Dan Slott's agenda is with the entire Spider-Man universe, but somebody at Marvel really needs to do something, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not liking it. I'm not liking any of it at all. And I could drop it and not think twice about it, but I know the Spider-Man fans are grinding their teeth just like I was at the beginning of the New 52. Venom 41, we find out about the Mark. Why the Mark left Flash Thompson and went to Andy. And Andy finds out that she's been marked. We get a very good conclusion to the Lord Ogre story arc, and a lead into or a continuation towards the final parts, or the final issue of Venom. The artwork, a bit sketchier than usual, but not something really I'm complaining about, because I didn't really find much to complain about. I actually did enjoy the artwork, especially the Venom scenes and the Mania scenes. Will Mania remain in the Marvel Universe after all is said and done with the Venom miniseries? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Some awesome action in this book. We get to see Flash Thompson finally confront and talk with the symbiote, and the symbiote explains that it expelled the mark to Andy, and that's why Andy actually got the suit to begin with. It basically expelled the symbiote parts with the mark towards her, so it preserves the Venom and Flash, and who cares what happens to Andy. Now they're left with making a deal with the devil to actually save Andy. Will they save Andy? Will Andy continue to have the mark? Will Andy remain Mania by the time this entire series is over? As readers, I guess we'll have to wait to find out. But it will be sad to see Venom go. There were ups and downs with this series. There really were some ups and downs with this series. But unfortunately, I guess ultimately it leads to an end. Unfortunately, we are also seeing the end to Scarlet Spider, which is coming in December, 1 month after Venom's final issue, which once again is very sad. But a lot of the stuff that was tying into Amazing Spider-Man, actually all of the stuff, once Scarlet Spider ends, connecting to the Amazing Spider-Man, is gone after Scarlet Spider's end, and then we're getting a bunch of Superior stuff. If I see an ongoing series called The Superior Scarlet or The Superior Venom, guys, I apologize in advance, but unless those get rave reviews, and when I say rave reviews, I mean like these are 5-star books and everybody's telling me, are you crazy not for buying it? I'm not buying it. I'm done feeding into this Superior anything. It's garbage. It's been garbage, and a lot of people are liking it, and I can appreciate your liking of what's going on here. Look, to each their own. I respect your feelings towards the books, which I hope you actually respect mine as well. In my opinion, this is garbage. Dan Slott had it good up until Amazing Spider-Man 698. After that, I feel like it's just been a slow decline into I don't know what. But this story arc in Superior Spider-Man was the hugest letdown thus far, and this is Spider-Man 2099. This is what we've been waiting for, or we've been speculating since Superior Spider-Man's beginning. So to see it just completely get pooped on, I don't know. But Venom was pretty good. And we're leaving the Spider-Man part of the Marvel Universe now, and we're going into New Avengers, issue number 10. It's an Infinity tie-in, and thank you God, there is a little bit of a catch-up for those of you that are wondering what's going on in Infinity or not reading Infinity. They catch you up to what's been going on with the Illuminati alone in Infinity. And we find out, and if you didn't read Infinity yet, if you are reading Infinity and you haven't read Infinity number 2, Avengers, New Avengers, or anything like that, skip over this part of the review, but because there are going to be key points to this story, so skip over this book. Continuing forward, we learn that Thanos had a son, and his son is in the Inhumans, and he's delivered an ultimatum to Black Bolt to kill all the children from age... Where was it? Age... Was it on this page? Age something. Thanos had a son, but how many, what was the age group of the children that he wanted to be destroyed? I feel like I'm missing that point. Oh, here we go. It was in the recap. 16 to 22. But what Thanos doesn't know is his son is somewhere on Earth. Black Bolt has his own plan. Thanos has his own plan, though he's coming to Earth. Wakanda goes under attack by the time this issue is done. The Illuminati go searching for Thanos' son. There's something going on with Doctor Strange, which isn't good. And there's another incursion. And that's basically the long and short of it. I don't want to give too much away, but if anything, and I know Brant smiled a lot when I mentioned this, but this issue got me interested a little bit more in Infinity. But once again, not enough to buy it, at least not at this time. When Villains Month's over, I'm sure I could run back. I think I'm only, right now, consulting the checklist, I'm only missing Infinity number 2 and Avengers 18 and 19. Now, I don't think I'd be buying the Avengers. I might, maybe I'll grab issue 2, jump into issue 3, because then there's only 2 other issues of Avengers. I don't know, but I'm just not, I've already dropped Avengers once. I'm not really looking to jump into it again. Maybe I'll wait till there's a trade paperback of Infinity and just get them all together in one huge book, which I'm sure will cost about the same amount of money as the single issues anyway, but maybe I'll wait to see what happens in Infinity and if it's worth it even. But this all is leading into Inhumanity, which is starting in December. Inhumanity, once again, I've not touched any event really from Marvel this year other than Avengers vs. X-Men, which was at the beginning of the year. I didn't touch Age of Ultron except the first and last issue. I only touched the first issue of Infinity, and I'm getting the tie-in with New Avengers right now. Not even sure if I'm going to be keeping New Avengers after Infinity because of the advertisements about what's going to be going on in December. But beside the point, Inhumanity looks interesting. It is going to be crossing into a few books that I'm reading right now, so I might get Inhumanity's one-shot and see where that goes. At least just have some type of full event or something that's going on in Marvel this year. So I might grab Inhumanity, but Infinity I'm waiting on. I'm going to wait and see what's going on in Infinity before I make any judgment. However, there is a series or an event going on that I am reading, I am enjoying, and I will be looking forward to a lot of things that are going to be going on with these characters in the upcoming months. And that is, this issue is Uncanny X-Men issue 12, but this is the Battle of the Atom story arc. This is chapter 4. Next week, we are halfway through the Battle of the Atom. We have one more month to go. So, Jean and Scott have gone to the Uncanny X-Men for protection. They want them to protect them and keep them in the present. Jean wants to stay in the present and make a difference. The other X-Men, Wolverine's side of the field, Wolverine, Kitty says, I don't think I can forgive you guys for doing this. You know, you put me in charge. We should leave them alone, let them make their own decisions. But everybody's on the future X-Men side. Even Wolverine. He's like, don't hate me. You ain't mad at me. You're mad at McCoy for bringing them here in the first place. So everybody's pointing their finger at Beast. Even at the very beginning of the issue, where we have Maria Hill and Dazzler, where they're talking about another time travel incident going on, and she actually says, I hate Hank McCoy. I hate, what was it? I hate Henry McCoy. And it's not because I'm not anti-mutant, I'm not mutant-phobic, I just really hate Henry McCoy. And she just can't stand him because of what he's doing, and he's breaking all the laws of nature by time traveling. So she doesn't care about the other mutants, she just hates him for all this time travel nonsense. So the Uncanny X-Men debate, and they come to a decision, and Cyclops, present Cyclops, decides they're going to help Jean and young Scott. And Emma Frost is like, no, we're not. And even Magneto's like, you know, you're trying to make good on, you know, what happened with you and Charles Xavier. You're trying to, you know, you're making all this, the bad stuff that's gone on, all the bad stuff you've done, you're trying to own up to it now, but you're owning up to it the wrong way. And even Angel's like, listen, we all gotta go home. And then all of a sudden time freezes, and we find out that Jean Grey from the future is now involved. And who called Jean Grey from the future? This only solidifies my continuing hatred towards Emma Frost. And this is actually, she's the reason why I'm not reading Uncanny X-Men. I don't understand why Cyclops is still with her, but I cannot stand Emma Frost at all. I hate her character, I hate her persona. She was a villain when they started the X-Men way back when. She started off in the Hellfire Club. Somehow she got to opening her own school. Then she ended up somehow in the all-new X-Men, or the new X-Men, or whatever it was, Grant Morrison's run. And now, you know, she's a good guy, but you hate her. You know, I'd rather see Scott turn more towards the light side and see Emma Frost go back to the villain side. I can't stand Emma. I can't. You guys know me. You guys have seen my reviews from years ago when Emma Frost was on every single cover of the Uncanny X-Men when I was buying it. Can't stand the woman. Can't stand the character. Doesn't matter how well she's written, how bad she's written. I like when she's written bad because that means they're going to put her into a corner somewhere and nobody cares. I just can't stand Emma Frost. She doesn't belong on the X-Men. She never belonged on the X-Men. Maybe she belonged when they were having that whole mutant Metropolis thing going on when they were on, what do you call it, Nation X. But they're not there anymore. It's fallen. They're not there. The island has drowned. Cyclops and his team are in hiding right now. This woman needs to go. But as far as the story is concerned, it's a good issue. Really enjoying Battle of the Atom. Hate Emma Frost. Gonna hate her until the day I see Jean Grey kick her ass all the way back onto the other side of the Marvel Universe. But beside the point, looking over Emma Frost, this was a very good story arc. This is a very good issue. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen next. And where this is all going to lead. We all know that the X-Men from the past are going to end up back in the past because Maria Hill wants everything set right. The Wolverine School wants everything set right. The Uncanny X-Men honestly have no say. So it's going to be interesting to see what's to come by month's end in October. But this is definitely one of the events in Marvel this year that I'm enjoying immensely. It's been a year in the making, believe it or not. We're at 12 issues. Some months doubled up, but this started way back in December, I believe. Was it December? Around December? Somewhere around December. So this started around the beginning of 2013, and it's going to be a wow ending to 2013. It was short, but it'll be interesting to see what the ramifications are going to be. And finally from Marvel this week, the best book of the week. Still top-notch book in my opinion, and it is Daredevil, issue 31. We're continuing with the Serpents in the judicial system. And Jester makes an appearance. And he manipulates. This guy gets set free. There was a trial going on, and he was acquitted because there wasn't enough. There was reasonable doubt. So Jester breaks into or he interrupts the feed and makes it look like the who was it? I want to see who it was exactly. I forgot who it was. The DA. He hacks it and makes it look like the DA actually showed. He actually did show the entire jury. And he's like, I want you guys to riot, find them, these are their addresses. And it ensues in a huge riot throughout the entirety of Manhattan. And Ant-Man, Daredevil brings in Ant-Man to try to cause a storm to kind of chill out the riots and whatnot. And Daredevil has to jump in and save the DA. And everybody's in protection because now the entire world knows who the jury was for this trial and where they live. And they're going after the DA because they believe he's the one that actually did it, even though he didn't do it. And yeah, so now the Jester is in the sight, no pun intended, of Daredevil. Daredevil has set his sights on the Jester. And I'm not going to give away the last page. But, dear God, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat until next month's issue. Because the last page, you have Daredevil walking into the address that was given for the Jester that he obviously knows is a trap. And he's like, there's no telling what he wants me to find inside. And, wow. I hope that's not what they make it look. Comic writers have their ways. And Mark Waid has been an amazing writer for this series. There's always a way where it looks like it's one thing and then at the beginning of the next issue it's not. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm really hoping it's not who it looks like at the end of this issue, but wow. I'm not giving away the ending at all because this is a spectacular book. It is 31 issues already. I don't believe it's ever really doubled up. And this is one of the books that is it's my top 3 books coming out of Marvel right now. This is an excellent read, 5-star book, a book you should not be missing out on. When Hawkeye was coming out, because Hawkeye hasn't come out for the past 2 months since his annual, this book had only Hawkeye competing with it for its placing at times. But Daredevil has definitely gained its spot over Hawkeye at this point, and it is a spectacular read. If you guys are not reading Daredevil, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you guys check out Daredevil. It's a spectacular read. And before we go to our commercial break, we're going to jump into DC Comics with one book before we go into Villains Month, and that is Batman Beyond Universe Issue 2. Superman Beyond is now average. He's normal, and he no longer has his superpowers until they can figure out what's going on, and they can fix it so he can be Superman again. And we all know by the end of the story arc we're going to have Superman back. But he does end up going on a date. Yes, that's right. And he's asking for dating advice from the Justice League Beyond. And he ends up taking his date. I believe her name is Kate. I want to make sure it's right. No, Rita. He ends up taking Rita to the Metropolis State Fair, and they're having a good time, and then all of a sudden this Kryptonian suit of armor attacks and enters the Justice League, and they save the day, and Clark gets it, or he's not Clark anymore, they call him Cal Kent. Cal gets, is going to get a second date. However, he wants to know why what has happened, and it originates in the Phantom Zone. So, for those of you that are reading this digitally, that's really why I'm spoiling a lot of this, because this has happened a month ago. We're already in the next parts to this story, obviously, if you're reading it through DC Direct, yeah, I believe it's DC Direct, or whatever it is, the Digital First series. It's already continuing, so this is old news. So Superman steps into the Phantom Zone to find out what's going on, and what's going on, it all connects to Jax-Ur. And on the outside, outside the Phantom Zone, Jax-Ur is also taking control of Superman's robots, and now the Justice League Beyond is fighting the robots. And you got Jax-Ur, who is not superpowered in the Phantom Zone, versus Superman, who's not superpowered in the Phantom Zone. We now are in the second story. I like that there's only 2 stories in this book. I think it's better. I think it allows for this much is one story, this much is, well, actually, I should say this much is one story and this much is the other. It's a fair amount of pages, a good amount of story that could be for each book. I think it should have only been forever, only 2 issues, so I'm glad that they cut out that 3rd issue. So Batman Beyond, he's containing all the inmates who were left out of Arkham. We got Bruce, who's trying to check in on Terry, and Dick doesn't want to tell him anything. We've got Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, who is former Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, who is asked to actually, maybe it's time to retire, and she doesn't want to retire. And then you got Batman rounding up, Batman, rounding up the remaining inmates that got free and are walking around Gotham. And then there's a message that goes across the radio waves and the TVs, looking for Batman. It's an obvious trap. He goes anyway. I love how Dick says, "You're definitely Batman," stubbornness and all. He arrives, and it looks like he's not just going up against a new foe. He's going up against the past. Dun, 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 maybe? I don't know. But that looks like the original Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl. Who are they? I guess we'll find out in the next issue. Or if you're reading the Digital First books, you already probably have the next chapter of this story. So this is old news for you, and you've already continued right along into the next issues. That's the one thing I don't like about the Digital First books. For me, this is brand new. For everybody else who's reading, this was last month's Digital First story. So they're already in next month's book, and I'm just now in last month's story. It's the only thing I don't like about Digital First, and I know it's trying to push the initiative of everybody reading digitally, but I'm one of those people that I'd rather have a solid copy. Yes, it takes up room in my house. Yes, it takes up a fair amount of space per box. But at least if my computer craps out on me, and let's say all the databases in the world are erased, I still got the print copy right here in my hand. Nothing can take this away from me except a fire, which would be terrible. Which would mean not only losing the internet, but losing everything. So, let's hope that doesn't happen. But beside the point, if computers all over the world go out, I still got my copy! Which is delayed, but whatever. So guys, we're going to go and take our commercial break right now. I'll be right back, and we'll be going into 14, that is right, 14 Villains Month issues this week. This was a heavy week. Next week is going to only be 12 though, to compensate for the one extra this week. I don't know why DC did that. They didn't just do 13 for all 4 weeks. But beside the point, stick around. I'll be right back after this commercial break. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. We are officially in the Villains Month books. And we're starting off with Justice League, issue 23.3, Dial E, number 1. Don't waste your time. No origin story, you just get a bunch of different transformations. If you're reading Dial H, you're going to like this book. If I wasn't buying every single book from Villains Month, and to be honest, I wanted every single book from Villains Month, except this, because I knew, just as I sit here and tell you guys this was a waste of time unless you really like Dial H, just as I sit here right now saying that, I knew I would be saying this months ago when they first released all the Villains one-shots. When I saw Dial E, I was like, why the hell are they wasting our time with this issue? They could have picked another supervillain. They could have done the Crime Syndicate. They could have done so many other villains. Why the hell Dial E? Waste of money. Glad I got it in 2D because it was discounted and it was only $2.99. Dumb. You don't need it unless you read Dial H. And Dial H is ending anyway. Dial E is not a Justice League villain. You're probably never going to see her again. Or you might in future story arcs somewhere. Not in the Justice League though. So, waste of time. Didn't need it. It was stupid. And also, I'm sad to say, Eclipso, Justice League Dark, issue 23.2, was another disappointment. This guy who's losing everything. He lost the girl he was engaged to. He lost the business that he was doing with her father. And then he comes into possession of this black gem. And the black gem's Eclipso. And you get a little bit of Eclipso's background story. That's the positive part of this book. You get background on Eclipso, and I must say this is a really sweet 3D cover. I really wish I would have gotten this in 3D also, because I think these two complement each other very well as far as the 3D effect, but I did not get Shadow Thief in 3D. But other than that, then Eclipso says, cut yourself, let me be part of you. Now, for those of you that remember the old DCU, anyone who even touches the diamond or the black crystal becomes Eclipso. They don't have to cut themselves. It's just if you come into contact with the gem, that's it. You're Eclipso-ized. That's it. You don't have to cut yourself. You don't have to stab yourself with it. Nothing. You touch it, you're Eclipso. The end. But no, in the new DCU, you apparently, to form a blood bond with Eclipso, have to cut yourself. He says only once, but he makes the guy do it several times. So him and Eclipso now are one. The guy shows up wondering what's going on because he left the conversation very abruptly. And I won't say what Eclipso does to him, but basically he wants to get rid of Eclipso. He wants to destroy the gem. He does that. He destroys himself. So he says, I'll bury the gem. He's like, why? The girl you're in love with, what's her name, Mona, is going to be all alone now that her father's dead. You should go protect her first. Surely we could settle our differences later. And he's like, yeah, we could talk about that tomorrow. At the end of the issue. I can't say I was really expecting more, but I was expecting a little bit more. I feel like the story was the quickest read out of every single book this week. And if you don't need an origin of Eclipso, you don't need this book. Unless you really like the cover, which I really do like this cover. I've got to admit that. This is a really nice 3D cover. But that's all Eclipso number 1, Justice League Dark 23.2 is. A nice cover with an story. Not the best, Nobody's going to care about the story ever. It's a forgettable issue unless you've been reading Amethyst, Catwoman, or there was a third book. Amethyst, Catwoman, or I hate when that happens. Because they make mention of what books Eclipso here. Or Team 7. Or Demonites. Sword of Sorcery, Demonites, Team 7, and Catwoman. I have Team 7 in trade paperback form, but I have not read it yet. I don't read Catwoman, I don't read Demonites, and I sure as hell do not read Amethyst. Or Sword of Sorcery, however you'd like to call it. So this story was basically a lackluster story for me. I like Eclipso in the pre-New 52. I think that this character has potential for Justice League Dark in the future. I guess we'll have to wait and see if he does play a part in the Justice League Dark's future. Justice League of America 7.3, as you guys saw, Shadow Thief issue 1. I found this interesting. Shadow Thief is a character. She's not really a bad guy or a villain, so to speak. She wants to eliminate an alien race and the weaponry that they're giving to mankind, because the alien race wants to destroy mankind. And she gives an origin of how this alien race, you know, she was curious about this virus or whatever it was she was getting for the government, and it turned out that it killed her older brother and her mother. And it turns out that the government, the person who sent her out on that mission, wasn't exactly human. He was an alien. And the suit that she put on, which she thought was a containment suit, who didn't see this coming, was actually the Shadow suit. So that's how she has her powers. It's all thanks to the Shadow suit, which, as she claims, the more she wears it, the harder it is to take off. So one day it's just going to completely consume her and it'll never come off ever again. And the aliens she's fighting against, by the way, I do want to show them. And they... okay. This was a gross page, though, by the way. This is the only issue this week that if I could go back in time, I probably would have gotten this in 3D, because this definitely would have looked nice in 3D. Maybe when the second printings come out, if they come out individually and not in that huge, you have to buy all 53 issues to get all the covers in 3D, I might get Shadow Thief in second printing 3D, because this would have been a really nice cover in 3D. It was a nice read. It was a decent read. I don't know Shadow Thief. I now know about her. Will she be in the Justice League of America? Will she be an antagonist, or will she show up? I guess we'll have to wait for future story arcs to find out. Was an interesting issue, though. Really didn't connect too much with Forever Evil. And I don't know why I didn't put this below Shadow Thief. I really should have. Penguin, issue number 1, Batman 23.3. I'm sorry. I'm not a Penguin fan. And I know Mike liked this book, Breaking the Fourth Wall. I did not. It was okay. Average at best. It wasn't, oh my god, I love this story. Penguin's running the Iceberg Casino. And this story arc basically shows how dirty Penguin is, or what he's doing behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And that he used to be called Emperor Penguin until the Batman knocked him down to size. And but he still is, deep down inside, even though Penguin is running the you know, he's trying to make it look like he's running a legitimate business, Penguin, deep down inside, is still the Penguin. And he's just as low down and dirty as Lex Luthor. Honestly, he's like a businessman with a lot of connections, and he could, and in this issue you learn, he will screw you and he will cause you to commit suicide. All because he wants you, all because of what he does to you. So, Penguin always has the last word. That's how it ends, and that's very true. That's why I guess I put a little bit above Shadow Thief, because it is the Penguin. It was an interesting issue. I kind of find it weird that out of all the 3D covers, Penguin is the only one that is still available on Midtown to get in 3D. And if Mike liked it so much, I don't know why he doesn't get in 3D, but beside the point. It was okay. It was average. You have to be a Penguin fan to really find enjoyment in it, I guess. I thought it was just average. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't definitely like top tier book either. again, same thing here. Batman Detective Comics 23.3, Scarecrow issue 1. It's really setting up for the Arkham Asylum people and the Belle Reve. The Belle Reve are the regular prison. Arkham Asylum are basically Scarecrow, Riddler, Mr. Freeze, and Poison Ivy as well. And there's also Killer Croc. This book kind of feels like it connects to all the villains' one-shots except Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is kind of there, but he's like, Scarecrow is trying to gather all the villains together for when the war does come. And I believe this does, I want to check the back of the book where it says to be continued in. I believe this continues in the one of the miniseries going on. Yes. This is continued in Arkham War #1. Okay. So, this is setting up for Arkham War #1. Scarecrow goes to the Riddler, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, you know, all of his fellow inmates, and he, you know, he's warning them about what's coming. You know, he's seeing if they're on his side, what's going on. And he has a partner with him that's walking around. He was one of the people that worked at Arkham Asylum, and he talks about fear a lot. Of course, this is Scarecrow. You have to throw fear in there or else it's not good. And in the end, his partner doesn't exactly make it. I love this picture, though, where it shows how Gotham is divided amongst all of the supervillains. And Scarecrow, just like all the other supervillains, or all the Batman villains, says, Gotham City is mine. And that's where it's to be continued. Every single Batman supervillain thus far has proclaimed that Gotham is theirs. I wonder if Batman was ever really gone forever, because we know that that's not true, and we all know, just like Riddler, that Batman one day will be back. So I wonder what would happen if Batman didn't come back, and there was an all-out war between all of Batman's supervillains, who actually legitimately would claim Gotham as their own. Would it be Scarecrow? Would it be Bane? Would it be Clayface? What do you guys think? I actually think this is a good topic video that I might actually do on Dark Avenger Inc. But this was a pretty good issue. Definitely better than Penguin, but once again, still follows the average story. But this does set up for Arkham War. I will be getting all the tie-in, all the miniseries that are coming out of Villains Month, because they all have their little perks, and they're all quirks. Finally, the only cover I wish I got in 3D this week, I feel like every week I pick the 2D covers, and then after reading the stories, I kind of wish I got the 3D covers, but beside the point, Batman the Dark Knight, issue 23.3, Clayface, issue 1. Now, I don't exactly like the way Clayface looks in this. It kind of looks like a dumb version of himself, but you get a little bit of background story with Clayface, and you also it also takes place during Forever Evil. Issue 1, where the Justice League is dead, and now basically the villains run the world. So Clayface is just looking for a job, and he hears about the secret society. So he wants to impress them, so this way they'll want him to join them, and he could, you know, be a big head of the, not a big head, but he'll be able to work. I forgot what it was, what he said he wanted to do, but he wants to attract their attention, and they'll make him a guy that runs things. So he hears about this outpost. He's warned that maybe this is, you know, set up by the secret society, but he doesn't care. He doesn't listen. He takes the initiative without being asked by the secret society to do anything. He goes in and takes out the entire secret base and contacts the secret society and tells them, hey, I did it! And they're like, you're an idiot. We actually set that up on purpose. And in the end, basically, Clayface is never going to be a part of the secret society, so all he'll ever be doing is what he's doing. And he hears the job that's going to be going down, and he's like, that sounds like a plan, and he likes the plan, so that's it. So Clayface will never be part of the secret society. This is not to be continued anywhere. This was a one-shot that literally ends as a one-shot. Will we see Clayface again? If you are really interested in Clayface, actually, right now, in the Dark Knight story comic, there is a Clayface story arc going on. So, if you're interested, you can check it out there to get more Clayface. Clayface was also in Batman, it was the story arc right before Zero Year started. So, if you're interested in Clayface, that's where you can get more Clayface. For Forever Evil, I don't think we'll be seeing Clayface anymore. This was a nice issue. It was an interesting read. Once again, the only thing I feel bad about is I didn't get this cover in 3D. Next, Swamp Thing. Arcane, issue 1. This is Swamp Thing 23.1. The only Swamp Thing tie-in to Forever Evil. It's in 3D. And you get the origin of Arcane. You have Abby who goes to him. He is now trapped in the rot forever. He's powerless. And Abby goes to him looking for answers about her mother, her real mother, who we find out is later on. And we find out that she was adopted by another a woman who she believed was her mother. Artwork in this book is spectacular. But basically it's not an origin, more along the lines of how Arcane came to join the rot, and then mostly about Abby and her mother, and how Arcane tried to convert her mother, and then Abby finds out even further that it wasn't her birth mother. It was, like I said, she had another mother, but she had passed away when Abby was just a baby. And then we get a little bit at the end where it turns out Arcane might have actually escaped the rot. Might have. Why do I say might have? Read the book and find out. Once again, though, this is definitely it says T+. It's a gruesome book. It involves I don't want to really say this. Okay. It involves dead rabbit eating on Arcane's part, and this is the dark side of the DC universe for a reason. Definitely for mature readers. I don't care if this says T+. Yeah, maybe teens and older. When it says teens, I would definitely say something along the lines of 17, maybe close to 18, maybe 16, 17, whatever. But not anything younger. Nobody younger than that, to be honest. It was a gruesome book. Unless you're there with them, I wouldn't. This is dark. Swamp Thing is just a dark book. That's what you get from Arcane. Green Lantern number 23.3, Black Hand number 1. It's a disappointing issue if it's connected to Forever Evil, but for Green Lantern fans, this was a definite awesome issue. And since I read Green Lantern, this was a good issue. Black Hand is back. There's a lot of death going on, and the only thing that was kind of stupid, I thought, was in the beginning, Black Hand didn't know who he was. He had complete and utter amnesia. He's like, why am I here? But he knew he could bring the dead, he could kill things and then bring them back to life and make them his slave. So that was the only thing that was kind of weird and stupid. That is like, I don't know who I am, but I know I have to do this, and I know I love this and I love that, and I know I hate all the rings except mine. Mine is black, the others are rainbows, and that makes me sick. And then it all ends up with him in the Shady Vale cemetery, standing over Hal Jordan's father's grave, and he's like, oh, and then he touches the grave and he gets all of his memories back. All of his memories all at once come back to him, and he rises Hal Jordan's father from the grave, and he takes Hal Jordan's father's hand, and he's like, I know Hal Jordan's gone for now, but I learned that Hal Jordan never dies, so he'll be back eventually, and when he does come back, I'm going to kill him with his own father's hand. But until then, let's go find something to eat. And you get like a bunch of zombies coming out of the ground. The thing is, though, Hal Jordan is not a member or an active member of the Justice League or Justice League of America. So technically, Hal Jordan's in space right now. Hal Jordan probably has no idea what's going on. I mean, maybe in Forever Evil they'll have a connection to Hal Jordan. Maybe he'll come back from space, and that's how, you know, like the superhero resistance will start. But Hal Jordan is not part of the Justice League of America or the Justice League or anything anymore. My prediction is somehow Hal Jordan's going to come back and make a stand against the crime syndicate, if he's even part of Forever Evil. If not, then this definitely sets up for something in the future with Black Hand in the Green Lantern series, and that's great because I enjoy everything that's Black Hand. I mean, I know it's not Jeff Johns written anymore, but at the same time, this is really good for Green Lantern fans. If you're not a Green Lantern fan, you might not find this as much of an enjoyment as I did. But anyway, continuing along. Cheetah, issue number 1, Wonder Woman 23.1. There's only 2 Wonder Woman tie-ins to Forever Evil, this book and next week's Firstborn. Cheetah, this was an awesome 3D cover. This is a sick book. And this was one of the hardest ones to get next to Deathstroke and I forgot what other one I wanted to get in 3D that I got in 3D. My number 1 pick of the week, which we'll get to. But this is an origin of Cheetah, and it also takes place during Forever Evil 1. The Secret Society is looking for her at the rendezvous point, so this way they can take her to where the meeting is, where all this, Justice League is dead. But beside the point, we learn about her sick and twisted past about her and her brother, her mother, the clan, everything. And this agent goes to protect them because he knows that Cheetah is going after them because she's now free from Arkham Asylum or Belle Reve or wherever she was. And the woman doesn't listen to the agent, and she ends up dead. And this is all to be continued in Forever Evil, but the agent that she saves him from the... It's a long, convoluted story that I don't want to get into because this was a good read. But the clan hunts the agent because they don't believe him about Cheetah. They actually want to welcome her back. They don't believe that she's going to hurt them. They believe she's coming back to them for the hunt and everything, to join back with them. And that's not the case. She actually wants to kill her aunt because she wants to rid herself of Barbara Minerva forever. And in killing the woman, her aunt, she now is free from her past. She's now just Cheetah. And the agent swears that there's going to be a hunt, and I'm going to he's going to take her. He's going to just stop her. He's going to kill her. And he has the dagger, which if he stabs Cheetah with this dagger, it turns Cheetah back to normal. So that's going to possibly play a part in Forever Evil, because at the end of this issue it says, once again, to be continued in Forever Evil. So this agent might actually play a part in Cheetah's takedown in Forever Evil at some point, or a part of Cheetah's story arc in Forever Evil at some point. So he's going to be hunting her now to stop her. That's going to be interesting. This was an interesting story, and it was a fun read. Even though I don't read Wonder Woman at the moment because it's way too psychedelic for me, maybe I will return to Wonder Woman one day. But Cheetah is definitely a supervillain I remember from when I was younger, and also from the Justice League TV series. So it's a good read. Book I'm actually surprised about: Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins #1, Batman and Robin, issue 23.3. An entire origin story of Ra's al Ghul from beginning to present. There are connections with Batman Incorporated, where Talia was killed, the birth of Damian, the imminent death of Damian. Basically, the Secret Society wants Ra's al Ghul to join them. And Ra's al Ghul knows that the reason that the Secret Society and the Crime Syndicate want him join them is because they feel threatened by him. And of course he denies, he turns it down. And this guy's like, fine, you want to play that way. He tries to attack Ra's al Ghul. One page. He makes easy work of him in one page. The artwork is really good. He's like, you think that this is a big deal? You think that this new Dark Age is anything? He's like, I've lived through hundreds of ages, and I've tried to build things in my empire. I've watched things die. I'm the one who prepares to tear everything down and rebuild it. I always have done that, and I always will. In other words, I'm not going anywhere. Your Secret Society and Crime Syndicate can come and get me. I'll still be around. And he even knows Batman's coming back, because the person that goes to him is like, they're dead. He's like, you think the Bat is dead? You're a baddie if you think the Bat's dead. He'll be back, and I'm not going anywhere anyway. And you can go back and say I declined their offer. I'm not interested at all. And it was spectacular. The origin of himself as well as the League of Assassins was really good. I'll be honest, it says if you want to read more about Ra's al Ghul, you could read Red Hood and the Outlaws. I'm this tempted to actually pick up the first issue with Ra's al Ghul in it from the Red Hood and the Outlaws. I probably won't, though. It depends on my output of books next month. This month has been a crazy month, and I'm glad I've already made my pre-order for next week. And Villains Month is over, and the books are going to go back to their steady pace of one issue only a month. But for the most part, maybe I'll get it. It depends on how my pull list looks. It depends on, like I said, what the announcement is going to be next week from myself and Mike when I get Mike back here. But Ra's al Ghul was a fun read. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely worth it, and it looks spectacular in 3D. This was one of the covers I was originally going to get in 2D, but to get the free shipping I had to add one more in 3D, so I picked Ra's al Ghul, and I'm very glad I did. Teen Titans 23.2, Deathstroke #1. I liked it. I thought it was a good story. I thought it was a decent story. Was it like spectacular? Oh my god, you know, this belongs in top tier forever? It's in my top 5, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's my top 5. It's number 4 of my top 5. Ra's al Ghul is my top 5. Cover looks really good in 3D. If you want it for the 3D cover alone, it's worth it. But the story inside, it's more along the lines of Deathstroke's origin. It turns out he had a son at one time. His son died. And at the same time his son died, that's when Deathstroke lost his eye. And before that, you find out that he worked for the government. And he didn't agree with certain things they were doing. So he turned to mercenary work. And he quit the government. Him and his son worked together. And that's when, unfortunately, his son met his end, and so did his eye. And we are now in present day where basically Deathstroke is just Deathstroke. And there's also mention of his daughter Rose at the end of the book, and how he's keeping everything a secret from her, at least for a while. I can understand why some people might not like this story. It was very lackluster. It didn't involve the Teen Titans at all, and if you didn't like Deathstroke's ongoing series, which I didn't. I only read like the first 2 or 3 issues and then I dropped it. You might not be a fan of it. But once again, Deathstroke, now that his series is over, where is he going to go? The Teen Titans, because Deathstroke was always an antagonist towards the Teen Titans. So he is the Teen Titans supervillain, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to future story arcs in the Teen Titans with Deathstroke. It's going to be interesting if they actually acclimate Rose the way they did in the previous series, or in the old DC universe, into the Teen Titans or around the Teen Titans. I thought this was a good read. I enjoyed it. I know a few people didn't like it this week. They didn't like the story. I thought it was a decent story, honestly. As compared to a lot of the other books I read this week, I'm sure if you had to compare this to Dial E or Scarecrow was good, or Penguin, or Shadow Thief, or Eclipso, this would definitely be in your top. This was definitely a top tier book in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Look, everybody has their own opinions. I really did enjoy Deathstroke though. I thought it was a good read and definitely worth the 3D cover price. And of course, the top 3, the next 2 books are Superman books. This is the first time that both Superman books were on the top. Normally it's one on the top and one on the bottom. But Superman 23.3, Hell #1, really good. Hell finds out that he was never friends with Jor-El. Back in time, and I could tell from page 1, I didn't even have to look, that it was penciled by Dan Jurgens, because I know Dan Jurgens' art from a mile away. The way he draws Superman, Jor-El, how he does, like, I swear, I wish he could be one of those people that just only draws Superman. Like, he owned a Superman comic series, like, that's his, and he's the only one that draws it, and then when he quits doing the artwork, the series just ends, because that would be perfect. But Hell traveled back in time. He had opened a time portal during the Hell on Earth saga, and he's actually, how many years in the past? I think it's 5 years in the past? More? I think so. I think it's about 5 years in the past. Give or take, I can't remember. But it's a younger Jor-El. And he's now in the past, and he finds out he's actually spiritually walking around and watching what's going on. And he finds out that he was never friends with Jor-El, and he never existed. That he was basically a bunch of artifacts put together, or relics that were put together in a spaceship that somehow got mixed up in radiation and all this other stuff, and it created him as Hell. And basically he's not Jor-El's friend. He never was Jor-El's friend. He never even was. Jor-El didn't even know he existed. So Hell wakes up and he wants to change things in the past in his image. Instead of saving Krypton, he wants to rule it. And how is it changing? How do we know he's looking to change the past? Because he kills Jor-El. Spoiler alert. But we all know. It says, don't dare miss Action Comics Annual #2. Superman, Superboy, Supergirl going back in time to stop Hell once and for all. That's going to be interesting. Because if they don't, Superman's very existence might not be happening anymore. So, This is a good setup for the first part of Krypton Revisit, or the Back to Krypton story arc that's going through all the super books. I'm looking forward to that. I believe it's starting next month, as a matter of fact, once the Psy War is over. I believe Psy War is actually ending next month. It's starting in November, the Back to Krypton story arc. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a spectacular story. I can't wait for Action Comics Annual. I believe, actually, Action Comics Annual is coming out at the end of October, because there are 5 weeks in October. So we'll be seeing the continuation of Hell in the Past in 1 month. Really liked it. Action Comics, issue 23.3, Lex Luthor, #1. Lex Luthor has been released from prison 10 years early. And he could have sworn that Superman was going to be there when he was released. And Superman wasn't. And I love the first page where it shows him in his jumpsuit, and then it's changing back to his suit and tie. So now Lex Luthor is back to being the disgusting, dirty, what's the word I'm looking for? Twisted, corporate leader that we all known him to be since the old 52, the old DC universe. And those scars on his face finally are gone. So people who are very upset that Lex Luthor had that scar on his face, guess what? He no longer has it. And this is no Elseworld tale. This is present day stuff. So Lex Luthor is back to complete normal. No scars at all. And he's still that disgusting, dirty businessman. And there's this guy that's making threats to him. And he says, by the end of the day, you're going to be wanting to sell me your company for pennies on the dollar. And Superman's still not around. Where's Superman? And he's testing. You know, he thinks that Superman is obsessed with him, and you know, if he was around, he'd be there. You know, he actually in the mirror view, Lex Luthor is the one that's obsessed with Superman because he keeps talking about him. He would be here. He'd be looking. This is inconceivable that he's not here. And he's doing all these different things, and he's still the disgusting, dirty person that we all brought. I can't remember. There was a word that I had before I started this review that I wanted to say was, but he's just Lex Luthor. And, sorry everybody, my camera apparently ran out of memory, or battery, or both at the same time, so continuing Lex Luthor. He's still the twisted, disgusting, underbelly businessman that he was. He set something up for Superman, thinking Superman will come. You know, he sets up the shuttle that's crashing into the Earth. They send out a broadcast throughout all the TV stations, radio stations, everywhere, saying, Superman, please save us. It doesn't work. And Lex Luthor has no intention of saving them either. And he has his assistant who's been next to him throughout this entire issue. And she finds out that he set this up and he let them die. So she's trying to dial 911 and she dies. Or she goes missing. We don't know. All we see is her shoes fall off the edge of the building. And he needs a new assistant now. But Superman, where is he? And we find out that this issue ends right before Forever Evil #1. So this issue is a must-read if you enjoyed Forever Evil #1. Because this issue ends right where Forever Evil picks up, where Lex Luthor is in the helicopter talking to, what's his name? Something Cord. I forgot Ted's father's name. Thomas Cord, I was right. And all throughout the issue also, he's like, I'm Lex Luthor. He treats himself like he's his own little celebrity. He's like, I'm Lex Luthor, you know, do you want my jumpsuit? He offers his jumpsuit to the guard that was watching over him. He's like, I'm sure if you sell this, you can make like $1 million. You can pay for your child's college. And he's like, yeah, if you want to give it to me. He's like, yeah, we'll just come over and grab it. And the guard refuses. And he just continually, his obsession with Superman is almost equal to his ego. It's sickening. But at the same time, #2 book. It was this close to #1, but it's #2. So what book, obviously you guys know because you know what came out this week, obviously. There's only one book that beat Lex Luthor this week, and it is The Flash 23.3 The Rogues, issue number 1. This book was my favorite book of the week, and I read it in the middle of all these books because I was going to save it for last. And I got through a fair share of the bad books first, but I needed a good pick-me-up, and this book was perfect to jump into it. Unfortunately, I haven't been reading Flash. I actually dropped Flash right before the Rogues made their first appearance in the New 52. But the Rogues are looking to break out the Trickster, who was put in jail. But before that, we jump back in time to where it was all the Rogues, minus the Trickster. This is after, I guess, the events that happened in the Flash. And they're looking to perform a heist. Mirror Master is trapped in Mirror World. You have, I want to get all the, I love how they actually did label all of the people. You've got Lisa Snark, who is the Glider and sister to Captain Cold. You have Mirror Master, who's trapped in Mirror World. Glider is trapped in a, she's in like in an astral projection form. You have Weather Wizard and you have Heat Wave. And unlike the old DC universe, Captain Cold doesn't use a gun anymore. Now his powers are all part of his body, and we learn how that happened. If you didn't read The Flash, we learn how all of them now have their powers as their own personal powers, as opposed to through machines. Because, well, first of all, Glider goes into a coma because she goes to save Mirror Master, because she's the leader of the Rogues right now. Because Captain Cold made too many mistakes, and they actually voted him down and voted her as their leader. But because she goes into a coma, they need a new leader. But because she's in a coma, Captain Cold actually says, the Rogues are done, we quit. And he actually goes into this whole like self-pity thing where he actually explains, you know, I know they hate me because of the decision I made, you know. At first you see the Rogues from, they look like the pre-New 52 up here. And then it turns out they found, he found the genome recoder, and you get all the classic Rogues. All their powers are actually fused into them now. So Cold now could make ice with his bare hands. Heat Wave produces heat on his own body, and his entire body is scorched. You get the whole Rogues roster in the second page, actually, which is right here. Weather Wizard has the abilities of weather. He's like basically the Storm of the DC universe now. He can conjure up weather with his staff. And Glider, like I said, astral projections. But because of her decision and, you know, a whole intervention from the Rogues with Captain Cold, they actually want him to rejoin up, and they want him to lead the Rogues again because his sister is gone. And he actually decides to do it, and then finally he kind of comes to his senses a bit more. He's like, you know, I've only been thinking of myself. I never really apologized to all of you for what I did to you with the genome thing. And let's go break Trickster out, because the Rogues never leave one of theirs behind. And they go break Trickster out. And then, of course, the last page, the last two pages, the second to last page, Forever Evil Time, once again with the Crime Syndicate telling everybody that the Justice League is dead, all the leagues are dead. And then we get the last page, which goes into Rogues Rebellion, issue 1. In the beginning of the issue, it was pre-Gorilla Grodd, issue 1, which happened in the first week of Villains Forever. And then in the last page, it's post-Gorilla Grodd, issue number 1. And the Rogues are back in Gem City, or in Central City, and the first thing Captain Cold says is, I don't know what's going on here, but if something happened to my sister, God help whoever's responsible. And that's why Grodd 1 is moving into the Rogues Rebellion issue 1, because now the Rogues are back in Keystone City, and it looks like the Rogues are going to be cleaning up what Grodd has done to Central City. And the Rogues have a code. They don't kill, they don't do it. It's just like the old DC universe where there's a code that they follow. They only steal. They don't kill, they don't hurt, and all they're in it for is to for the money. That's it. So they're seeing their city destroyed. Captain Cold's sister's in the hospital in a coma. Yeah, I cannot wait for Rogues Rebellion issue number 1. I wish the Rogues had a full-blown series, but once again, they're not even supervillains. They're thieves at best, super thieves at best. But once again, the Rogues are one of the Flash's rogues. They're one of the Flash's antagonists, one of the supervillains. So, but I enjoyed it. If I wasn't reading Flash, if I heard that the Rogues were going to be the next thing to come in the Flash book, I would absolutely be reading that. This was the best book of the week. Artwork was great. Story was great. I left a bunch of stuff out and probably confused half of you while I was trying to explain this without spoiling too much. But that's okay, because I want you to go out and get the Rogues. Get it in 3D, get it in 2D, get it in 1D, get it on a digital download, get it however you want. But this book was my book of the week from DC Comics, from this entire week's worth of books. It was a fun read. I like the Rogues. They're a villain group that you can actually respect because they have a code, and at the same time, it sets up so well for Rogues Rebellion that's coming out next month. The only miniseries in Forever Evil that was not actually pushed at all so far, I mean, there's still one more week with Villains Month, was Argus. So that's going to be interesting to see if that's actually pushed at all. The Argus miniseries. But I'm probably going to grab the first issue of it anyway just to see what's going on. If I don't like it, I probably just won't finish the miniseries off. But I definitely will be getting the Rogues Rebellion, and I definitely am getting Arkham War. So with that, that's it for this week, guys. So let's round out the books and call it a night. I'm not going to give the issue numbers with the points anymore. I'm just going to say what the villains are, and there's that. Rogues, absolutely must have. Awesome book. If you enjoyed Forever Evil 1, you must read Lex Luthor number 1. It was a prequel, and it was a really good book regardless. Check it out. If you're reading Superman, you definitely want to check out Hell. It was a good issue. Deathstroke, I thought was good. It's up to you guys if you're reading Teen Titans and if you enjoyed Deathstroke. I enjoyed this issue. Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins. I actually enjoyed this book, and it makes me want to think about picking up Red Hood and the Outlaws. Cheetah number 1 was a very good book, even though I'm not reading Wonder Woman anymore. Black Hand was awesome as well. If you're reading Green Lantern, you'll enjoy it. Arcane was another good book if you're reading Swamp Thing. Clayface was pretty good. This is the beginning of the OK stories. This was definitely a good one. The only thing I regret is it's not in 3D. Scarecrow was okay. It sets up for Arkham Wars. Penguin, I thought was just an average story. Shadow Thief, I enjoyed finding more out about this character, but it was just okay. Eclipso, average. And Dial E, don't waste your money or your time. Batman Beyond Universe issue 2 was an awesome read. Daredevil issue 31 was spectacular. Mark Waid just continues to deliver the amazingness. Battle of the Atom chapter 4, Uncanny XMen number 12 was really good. Still hate Emma Frost's guts. New Avengers issue number 10 makes me think about, maybe look into Infinity again, or actually gives me incentive to maybe get the trade paperback. Maybe I won't get the single issues. I'll wait for the trade paperback and see how the series ends. Venom issue 41. It's all leading into the end now. Superior Carnage issue 3, up to you guys. And Superior Spider-Man issue 18. Dan Slott just continues to shit all over the Spider-Man universe, and Marvel's not doing a damn thing, so it's like the new 52 version of Spider-Man's happening, and it's just not good, but Marvel thinks it's great, so... Thor God of Thunder issue 13. Lots of dialogue just to find out that Malekith is back, and Thor's going after him now. And Mega Man issue number 29 was a really good read as well. If you have a child and or if you're a Mega Man fan, definitely something you might want to stick in your pull list for that alone. So I don't know what's going to be going on with Spider-Man, guys. I'm going to hang tough for 3 more issues, but I have a feeling by issue 20 I'm done. I just have this itching feeling that Dan Slott's just going to continue to bring the character to a point where I'm just not going to be interested in reading it anymore. Maybe Mike will pick it up when he comes back. I don't know. We'll see. But until then, guys, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com, your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Don't forget to check out Dark Avenger Inc. as well, as I talked about in the beginning of this video. We try to give you guys as much content as we can. We are covering every single one of the Villain Month books. We have the first 2 weeks complete. Week 3 is going up as we speak, and we're going to conclude it all out on week 4. Look forward to the epic conclusion to Dark Rise. Or is it a conclusion? You'll have to wait and find out. That will also be on Dark Avenger Inc. probably next weekend. And lots of content that we're bringing to you guys. Lots of topic videos, lots of other videos that we're giving to you guys. DarkAvengerInc.com is coming at some point. We are working on the website. Now that things are moving a bit faster, the website might come out a bit faster. There is also something else on the horizon, which I'm not going to even discuss until it's here. So until then, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what Villain Month books books you enjoyed this week. That is a tongue twister. And if you agree or disagree with anything I have to say about any of the books that I reviewed here, if any recommendations, love hearing from you guys. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in your personal messages. Love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, sub button is somewhere around this video. If you enjoy what you see, click the sub button. This way every week my reviews will be in your subscription box and you won't miss out on a single review. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in another video. In the next review or in another video. Take care, everybody.